Hi, welcome to Bookie. Today we will unlock the book Peak, Secrets from the New Science of Expertise. In 1762, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart began a tour around Europe. His first stop was a palace in Bavaria. As a 7-year-old kid, his feet were far from reaching the floor, and his hands were barely able to reach the piano keys. Nevertheless, he fully convinced the audience of his ability through his performance. The Bavarian aristocrats were thoroughly amazed by his virtuosity. But this is not the whole story of his talent. Little Mozart was able to identify the sound of any musical instrument, and tell whether it was the A sharp above middle C or the E flat below middle C. It's like seeing a car rushing past and being able to accurately tell whether it's going 58.2 or 61 miles per hour. This kind of ability even overshadowed adult musicians in Mozart's time. Now, people call it absolute pitch. It is exceptionally rare. Many great composers and virtuoso like Brahms and Stravinsky didn't even have it. On average, only 1 in every 10,000 people have this gift. This seems to be a perfect example that proves only a few lucky people have innate talents, while ordinary people can only admire them. At least, this was widely believed for 200 years after Mozart's case. However, over the past few decades, people have developed a new understanding of absolute pitch. Researchers notice that there is an important fact that has long been ignored by the theory of innate talent. That is, Wolfgang Mozart's father Leopold Mozart was also a musician. Since he never reached the degree of success he wanted, he devoted himself to the training of his children. When Mozart was 4 years old, his father wasn't teaching him full-time all kinds of musical instruments such as violin and harpsichord. So, is it possible that Mozart's absolute pitch resulted from acquired training, or in other words, deliberate practice? This theory isn't baseless. In recent years, this assumption has already been proven by neuroscientific studies. In other words, talent is a product of training. Furthermore, this method of training can be traced, which is exactly what the book Peak wants to tell us. This book was co-authored by Anders Ericsson and Robert Poole. Ericsson is a professor of psychology at Florida State University and a Conradi Eminent Scholar. His research focuses on expert performance in areas such as sports, music, chess, medicine, and the military, as well as the effect that deliberate practice has on them. Robert Poole is a writer of science, technology, and medicine. He has worked as an editor and writer at 2 science publications, including Nature and Science, and taught science writing at Johns Hopkins University. Next, we will outline this book in 3 parts. Let's find out how we can upgrade ourselves from a novice to a master through deliberate practice. Part 1. How does practice create talent? Part 2. What is deliberate practice? Part 3. How to conduct deliberate practice. Okay, let's start with the first question. Why can deliberate practice create talent? We mentioned earlier that according to scientific research, talent is a product of training. Now let's look at another example of someone with absolute pitch. In 2014, the Japanese psychologist Ayako Sakakibara recruited 24 children between the ages of 2 and 6 to train them to have absolute pitch. It was simple. The goal was to train the children until they could identify the pitch of 14 chords. The results were astonishing. In 1.5 years, all of the 24 children completed the training. Besides the 14 chords selected for the training, the children could also identify the individual notes played on the piano. This means that every child who took part in the experiment developed absolute pitch just like Mozart. This was a wonderful and surprising discovery. In short, absolute pitch is not a gift, but rather, the opportunity to develop absolute pitch is the gift. These 24 children proved that pretty much everyone is born with this potential gift. If so, why do some people seem to be more talented? There are 2 reasons. The first reason for this is that practice changes the brain's